All right, thanks, George. All right, you're absolutely right. I hadn't been recording it. All right, so my apologies. So we're recording now. Um, okay, so any other questions? I see now Diane, which is one of our community residents. So Diane, normally what we do is we want all community questions to come at the public session, but since you presented to us before, I will allow this one question. But normally questions from the community
I don't.
normally come at the committee meetings,
Okay.
not this meeting. So
Mm. Well, I don't have a question, but I do have on this particular topic. I just wanted to add something, a caveat to the discussion, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that that neighborhood is already hurting with parking, and if 51 parking spots are going to be removed, it would be advantageous for the people that's putting in the bike lanes to also have an answer for how we can remedy the loss in parking, and maybe try to figure out a way that we can get some of that parking back in some way. But I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, and a topic that needs to be discussed.
So I'll say this, Professor Banks. I will say that, again, come to the meeting. It will be next month. I forget the date, George. What's the date that we
Sorry about
plan?
that.
On the 8th. I want to say the 8th, right? So on April 8th,
April 8th.
yeah, April 8th, that will be, the opportunity for not only board members, but also for the community to come in and see the plan and ask all questions, any concerns. Also, I want to forget because I forgot this. This is also going to be a launch. This plan is also going to launch the e-scooters program, not the e-bike, I want to say, but the e-scooters program. Our community board has been selected as a pilot location for the e-scooters program. So on some of the islands that will be built as part of the safety improvement, we will also have some of the e-scooters that will be set up as well. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me move on to the next topic. So we're pretty much halfway done with the meeting. So is there any other questions regarding the joint meeting that's going to take place on April 8th? And again, I'm going to mention this at the community, but yes, Mr. Hall.
I just wanted to say, and I think Ms. Benitez is correct, if they're going to do this joint venture along with this new project, I'm very anxious to see the study, but I think we need to get a definitive picture in its completion, and they need to deal with all the way up to 241st Street.
Again, that question was raised, Mr. Hall, and so again, the district manager raised the question. So my suggestion is let's make certain that we hang on to that question. So they're already aware of that. So if they're smart, they're going to come back with an answer to George's question. If not, then they're going to have people like you and Ms. Benitez ask the same question. So hopefully they will have an answer ready on April 8th.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, you got it. So okay, so the next item that we need to discuss is the discipline committee. All right. And so this is a committee that we have been talking about, and I know Dr. Hall mentioned it, and quite frankly, we have not done anything with this. And so this directive actually came from the borough president's office, I want to say in 2018. So what the directive was the following, that each community board was supposed to set up, and I'm looking through it because it's in, for those that want to know where I'm coming from, I'm actually coming from the Community Board 12 handbook that was put together by George and Ursula for us. And all this information also is available on the website. But if you look right after the bylaws, we actually talk about this, the discipline committee. And so one of the things that's supposed to happen was, or what was supposed to happen was that each community board was supposed to form a standing committee, a standing discipline committee that needed to be integrated into the bylaws, right? So this committee needed to be integrated into the bylaws. And again, this is the first page after the actual bylaws that's in the handbook, where what I'm discussing can be found for those that have your handbooks. So in this particular case, this discipline committee was supposed to be formed, and they're supposed to be able to handle any complaint against any board member or staff or anything of the sort. We did not do that. And as I said before, I'm not blaming, anybody for that. We did not do that because I know, as I said, Dr. Hall mentioned it and I've mentioned it, but we haven't done anything with it until now. So as you're well aware, so I'm going to update you on a couple of things that has happened. So as you know, we've had a disruptive force on our board that's pretty much just been going on for quite some time. And as you know, last month things got out of hand. So I'm going to tell you something that you don't know right now. So as of this moment, I am under investigation. So the board member in question filed a complaint with the New York City, I want to say Department of Human Services, something like that. I need to get the agency correct. So let me do just that. So if you would bear with me, I will tell you exactly who it is. So I was notified today that, yes,
This is George.
yes, I hear yours.
So I'm not an attorney, and I don't pretend to be one, but we were
Okay.
advised not to discuss this. So I don't know if you're raising this is actually discussing this. I would be very careful in what I say.
What's that?
I would be very careful in how you go forward because
Okay, all right.
I
All right.
the letter specifically stated that we were not to discuss this issue.
I didn't see that, but like I said, you may have something I don't. So we'll talk after the meeting.
yeah.
We'll talk after the meeting because I didn't see that. So, but in any event, so with that being said, let me be quiet going forward. But anyway, the bottom line is the discipline committee does need to be formed. Okay. So to that end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make I'm going to write this up. Actually, I'm notifying the bylaws committee right now. I'm going to bring this to the board as we're supposed to do, bring it to the board. Then the bylaws committee will discuss this and actually vote on creating this committee. Now, I know that the district manager and I loathe forming another committee, right? That's the one thing that we do not want to do. I can speak for George and myself in saying, if anything, we're trying to reduce the amount of committees, not increase the amount of committees. But after the events of the past couple of months, but in particular last month, then this committee needs to be formed. All right. So,
okay, so
with that being said,
Carl,
hang on. Let me just finish this, and I've been advised to be quiet. So on that note, I will do just that. This committee, as I said, you can look at your handbook, and you can find the information about the formation of that committee, and I will leave it there. Okay. All right. So.
okay, yeah, this is Carla. Carl and I will get on that as the leadership of the bylaws committee.
Right. So I will bring it to. Well, I need to bring it to. I need to bring it to the full board, Carl. I mean, because
Yeah.
as you know, that's how we do it. So I'll bring it to the full board next week Thursday, and then ask that we form this committee, have you guys take a look at it, and then you will obviously bring your recommendation back to the board. So the earliest that the discipline committee could be up and functional will be after the general board meeting in April.
Right.
Right, and then we could implement what we need to do from there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Right, Carl? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Next item up for discussion is we have non-participating board members, right? So we have more that I want to take a look at. So I want to actually bring this up for discussion before actually your recommendations. So as you know, we voted 3 off last month, which is great. So that's a great start. But there are several other board members that, quite frankly, are not attending the meetings, and of course, whether it's COVID or not. And so, they will, like last month, I got a call. Well, can I be excused? Okay, well, fine. But as I've told that particular board member, well, you haven't been showing up anyway, and you can't continue to use COVID as an excuse, because as I said, you can always come to the board, or like Deacon Brown did. Deacon Brown has been hanging out with Mr. Hall, right? So there's always a way to get it done if you want to show up. I have attempted to call board members based on the numbers that I have on file. So, if you notice, we saw a board member at an education meeting out of the blue that we haven't seen in quite some time. So personally, I'm ready to move forward, but I kind of sort of want suggestions as to how to move forward, or well, not how to move forward, but what is your opinion on some of these board members without calling their names. I'm thinking about, well, actually, let me also mention one other thing. There are also board members who really have not been attending their committee meetings either, right? And so that's part of, if you look at the bylaws, as part of our grounds for dismissal as well. So we had one board member, in fact, had their wife try to answer for them at a board meeting. I want to say at the January board meeting. So they wanted their wife to, fill in for them, which of course is illegal. So I'm looking at least another 5, but again, I'm open to suggestion, board members, as to chairs, I should say, as to what your opinion is.
Well, listen, I think if it has to be done, it has to be done. If they haven't been attending and they haven't been participating, you go through the review, the same review that happened before.
Well, Ms. First Vice Chair, as Dr. Burke has mentioned several times, each individual has their due process, but I think we need to start with them being exposed first. All right, because I think these individuals don't even know, to whatever degree that we know what's going on. All right, so I think you need to start from that, and then start your letter writing campaign for dismissal. That's my suggestion.
Mr. Stricker?
Yes.
I was just saying, because I saw your mic open. You had anything you want to say, add?
No, I was thinking of saying something, but I'll keep it to myself for the time being.
Okay. So, because as I said before, I know I've reached out to some of the board members and the ones that I'm thinking about in particular. And, again, they'll give some of the same excuses that the ones we voted out gave. You know what I mean? Oh, I want to serve, but this, that, and the other. And so, to that end, we'll move forward. So if you want, we can begin the process. I mean, I'll reach out one last time, because, that's what I do. I'll try to reach out to you first before initiating proceedings, like we did last time. So I'll try one last time to get these people at the general board meeting next week. If not, then what I'm inclined to do is begin the process starting in April. So if everybody's in agreement with that, then we can move forward. That's why I wanted, since you guys are the committee chairs, and since they're not showing up to your meetings, then that's why I wanted your opinion.
I'm in agreement, just because I feel like we do need more active members on this board, including even on our committee board. I think I only have 4, and I think we're supposed to have 50 active board members in the entire community committee. So while I do like to give people opportunities, I think that if we start the process and give them ample notice, I think that's fair. We do need more active. We have a lot of work we have to do on this board, and I think we need active members.
A lot of work. You're absolutely right, Beatrice.
We're willing to do this work. So I agree.
I would say, when we put the new bylaw rule in, about removing people that don't come to 3 meetings in 9 months, that also apply to committee meetings.
Yes.
So we're already covered. If somebody, can come to a board meeting, but they don't attend their committee meetings, well, they're still under the same rules that they can be removed.
Okay. That's fair enough, Mr. Stricker. Yes, Mrs. Bond.
I think that it's fair that if we're giving the person notice as to what's going on and why the removal is being sought, I think it's fair that you go ahead and proceed, because as I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Cornell.
Ms. Cornell, thank you. As Ms. Cornell stated, it's necessary to get the work done because we have others that attend regularly and do their part. So, it's kind of holding us back.
Okay. So what I'm pretty much hearing from the board members is, the committee chairs, is y'all want to move forward with everybody else. Okay, you're shaking your head. So John is like, yes. Okay, everybody's saying yes. Okay, fine. All right, so I will do what I need to do to make it happen. And if we don't see them in this month, then we will move forward.
And Dr. Burke, I just would like to add that within this community, there are several people who are really waiting, willing, and able to get on this board. Because I hear it all the time, because I'm a monitor when they vote election day. Everybody wants to get on this board. So we don't have a problem there. So you don't want to be part of it? Hey, goodbye.
No, you're right, Mr. Hall. I mean, I hear it like you. I hear it all the time as well. I think that goes for most of us. We hear it, and the reasons why people get frustrated and so forth and so on. So, that's fine. As I said before, I don't want to, be dictatorial. I want, as you guys know, I like to confer with you to make certain that A, I'm making the right decisions, and B, include you in the process. So, based on what I'm hearing, it's time to move forward. So we got rid of 3. We're now down to 42 active members on Community Board 12 with the removal of the 3. And so if we look at least another 5, that's going to take us down to 37. But, again, I think that to your point, Mr. Hall, there are plenty of people that, want to serve. I mean, George, do you know how many applications we received for this year? No, okay, but I know it's quite a bit. We had a lot of people that applied to be on the board, so that's a great thing. So fantastic. Okay, so members, I'm almost done. I have 2 more items, and we can call it a meeting. So the next thing I want to talk about was the unauthorized uses of our recordings. So, and this is a big topic for discussion. So, as you know, all of our meetings are recorded. And yes, I was late on this one, but all of our meetings are recorded. And we also know that our general board meeting is on BronxNet. Everybody knows that. We've been on BronxNet now for 4 years. So whether you are a board member, whether you are a committee chair, or whether you're in the general public, you know that if you come to a Community Board 12 meetings, you are going to be on BronxNet, right? So prior to virtual meetings, and again, any community members who's welcome to our committee meetings. Our committee meetings have been on BronxNet as well. On BronxNet, excuse me, have been recorded as well. And so recently what has happened is those committee meetings have been uploaded to YouTube. Our district managers created a YouTube channel for us, and that's fantastic. That's in compliance with A, the open meetings law, truth be told, A. B, other community boards. I've seen where Community Board 12 in Manhattan does the same thing, where their committee meetings are on YouTube, right? And so I don't think that there's a problem with that. Same thing when I serve at the Borough Board. As you know, you've elected me as your chair, and I serve at the Borough Board meetings. All of those meetings are recorded. The difference is the following. The meetings of the Borough Board, when they're recorded, those meetings are locked. So what do I mean by that? That means that each one of us as a citizen of the Bronx, or each one of us who goes to the website, can access that recording and go back and look at that meeting. Okay. But it is locked. You cannot download it. Okay. So I can only say the only flaw that I see right now, excuse me, with our putting our meetings on YouTube is that those meetings are not recorded. I mean, not recorded. They're not locked, which means that any arbitrary actor can come and take and do nefarious things with those particular meetings. And so we had an incident, I want to say, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before last, where I get a call from one of our community residents, and that resident was like, Dr. Burt, was this committee meeting supposed to be on BronxNet? And I'm like, no. You know, when did that happen? So then, of course, you know, that person called the committee chair, and the committee chair calls me, well, Dr. Burt, when did this happen? I'm like, it's news to me. I call the district manager. District manager's like, it's news to me. So, you know, again, so we had an unauthorized use of our committee meetings on BronxNet, because all of us know that the only meetings, as far as we know, that is going to be on BronxNet is the general board meeting. So when I see a particular committee, you know, go and put a meeting, well, I'm going to choose my words carefully. When I see that particular committee's meetings on BronxNet, and again, all of you committee chairs, you know I love you, right? So please don't take what I'm about to say to any offense. Outside of the executive committee, which we all serve on, the most important committee on this board is land use, right? Because of the decisions that, and not only that, that's in here, right? Our handbook, because we are to discuss land use issues. Part of that, of course, is housing, right? So those are the most. So when I see this committee, which again, I have nothing but love for that particular committee, but when I see that on BronxNet, that's a disservice to all the rest of you. And so that's something that needs to be addressed. And I see, Mr. Isaac, you have your hand up, so I'm going to come to you first, second vice chair.
Board members, I just want to say that to keep your mind open about this transportation meeting, and also I want DOT to give us another area in New York where they install these bike lanes. So I think all of us should go as a group and do a case study before we actually make assessment on the fate of White Plains Road. We should actually reach out and see what other neighborhoods are doing. You know, and in terms of voting members off, I come from an organization where I call the other members brothers. And if you're not doing your part and you're not there, we actually vote you out. And it hurts because, again, we call each other brothers, but it has to be done. And that's it.
John?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, on 9th Avenue in the 30s and the 20s, they have something similar, which I believe they're planning for up here. Although there's no L structure, they're supposed to be protected bike lanes.
That's the thing that, you know, that I'm trying to stay open. I actually want to see it with an L, work with an L above, and a lot of obstructions. It works. I actually went down in Manhattan, down in Harlem, and I actually see it in Harlem. And you know, it's been working in Harlem, but the thing is, and people use it in Harlem. People are pushing baby carriages and doing whatever in that bike lane. But I need to see it with the L. Me personally, we have so much obstructions going on. That's my biggest thing.
Okay, well, okay, I think Fulton Street may have it out past East New York, but I'll double check that.
Yeah, and I think we should all go out there. You know, I mean, I could take 6 people with me in my car, so you know, we could go out there.
No public no public transportation. My goodness.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay, because I thought that we moved on from that, but I love both of you. but let's get back to the issue at hand. So again, I don't have a problem with us being on YouTube. I really don't, right? Because I think as I look at what we're trying to do, we're trying to be transparent, right? Everything is about transparency. And I know that if you go to city council and you go to their website, you know, you can go to certain committee meetings and you will see the broadcast of those committee meetings. Same thing with the state, all right? Same thing with the state. You can go to their website and you can see those committee meetings. So I don't see a problem with that. I think the only thing I suggest is that the meetings be locked so that you can't have nefarious actors come and manipulate that. And that's the only problem that I have. And I think that that needs to be addressed. Okay. But everybody knows that we are going to be recorded no matter what, whether you're at general board, whether you're at executive committee, whether you're at economic development, education, all of our committees. So I think that is to be understood. Okay. So only thing I'm saying is we need to be careful with who has access to our data because, and again, same thing with city council, same thing with the state. All of those presentations are locked, meaning that you can view it, but you can't download it. Okay. You cannot alter it or anything of that note. So are there any questions regarding that? Because I'm ready to move on if not.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think you really need to explain why you had this issue and what this community person spoke about, because the goal that I've always started or wanted for the 4 years, the 5 years that I've been the district manager is to get everything on TV. We just can't afford it right now. The fact that BronxNet wanted to broadcast it, it wasn't manipulated in any way. We had a committee meeting that was taken by BronxNet. It was the Parks Committee meeting, and they put it on TV. What's the problem with that? If they chose land use, would you have had an objection, or any other committee?
I think that, you know, again, let me just be careful with this. As I said before,
I think you should leave it alone. Is what I think you should do, because you're being targeted towards a Parks Committee, and you already have issues there. Go ahead.
Can I say something? I think that the issue for me personally was that, and I'm not speaking on any other person's behalf or any other entity's behalf. Just for me personally, is that we were not made aware. It's one thing to say that you're going to be recorded. It's another thing to say you're going to be televised. So where was that due notice with that? Like, how does that work?
There is no requirement. You're a public servant of the city of New York. Anybody can come to our meetings and record.
Right, but not everyone that attends the meeting is a public servant.
You don't need notice.
Not everyone. Right, not for me personally, but not everyone that attends the meeting is a public servant.
I understand that, but you're coming to a public meeting. Dr. Burke said it. All public meetings are open to the public. They're recorded, and then they're disseminated. City council hearings, state committee hearings. The federal government has its own channel, C-SPAN, that rebroadcasts all of their committee meetings. There is no difference here. The only problem that I see is that it was the Parks Committee. So unless you can articulate why, I mean, I have no problem on downloading it. On putting some sort of obstruction on it, but this is where we're going anyway. This is why we created the YouTube channel, to park all this content. I mean, let me just finally say.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
The final thing I'll say is this is Open Data Week. Now, this is kind of a wonky thing. Open Data New York is it's not a government organization, but they work heavily with the city government. I can tell you that I was tremendously proud of Community Board 12, because we were one of only 6 or 5 community boards in the Bronx that actually posted our stuff on YouTube. We're one of maybe, I don't remember the number, but it was a very low number across the city of New York. Out of 59 community boards, there were only 20 to 30 that were doing this. And we have a lot of content on our website. Like, we have more than 30 plus committees there. And what open data does, just so that you know, Denise, they take our information and then they transcribe it. So there is actually written transcription services on all of our committee meetings. This is what they do, and they make it available to everybody. So again, if you feel uncomfortable being a public servant or being in the public eye or being recorded, then this is really not the place for you, because that is always what we have been. And as a matter of fact—
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. The issue is not whether the meeting was recorded. That wasn't the issue. I don't know. Maybe I'm new to this. I'm the newbie in the house in terms of the chairs. So maybe everyone else knew that they could be televised. I was not aware of that. I was not aware. That's all I'm
not aware of what?
I'm not aware that I could be televised in the committee meetings. I did not know that that was standard practice.
Let me just say this, Denise, as the chair of the board, I didn't know that. So, I mean, that says everything right there. So it has nothing to do with you being a newbie. Like I said, I'm chair of the board, and that's new to me as well. So,
one second, Dr. Burke, if George can please address that. And it's not that, let's be clear about something. It's not that I'm shying away from that or anything. It's just that I did not know. So it came as a bit of a shock to me because I did not know. Maybe you knew, and I get that, but I did not know.
No, I was unaware. Whatever services we televise, we pay for. We pay a pretty penny for BronxNet to carry our streaming services. But like I said before, and I've said at the onset, the goal is to get all of it. That is actually why I want a reduction in committees, so that we can have all of this. Now, whether you put it on YouTube or you're on BronxNet or you're on a public access television channel is of no consequence.
Maybe it's of no consequence to you, but it would be of consequence maybe to other constituents who are wanting to join in the meeting, not just myself. So that's why I'm saying it's just that we did not know. I think that if we can have in the beginning of my committee meetings, what I will do now is I'll have a little disclaimer, just letting all parties know that there is a possibility that this might be on BronxNet. So, and it's going to definitely be recorded. So
is BronxNet the objection, or being on YouTube?
No, let's be clear. The objection was that it was something that was televised on BronxNet, and we seem to have no idea that that was taking place, period.
But what's the objection to being on BronxNet? What is it with BronxNet and not Facebook Live?
Once again, it's the fact that you are going to be televised on BronxNet and you have no idea that that is something that could be a possibility or could be taking place.
And that's the issue, is like I said, with the general board meeting, you know good and doggone well that you are going to be on BronxNet. I think everybody knows that. That was common knowledge. That is common knowledge, right? When you're at a committee meeting, we now know you're going to be on YouTube. I don't think Mrs. Bond has a problem with Facebook Live. I don't think she has a problem with YouTube. But she's saying is the same thing that I'm saying, is that, again, general board meetings, yes, we know you're going to be on BronxNet. Committee meetings, no, you have no idea that you're going to be on BronxNet. At least I didn't. So, and I'm the chair of the board, and I didn't know that. So, you know, that's my argument, and I think that's what her argument is. And again, Mrs. Bond can clearly speak for herself, but you know, that's what it is. So as we talk about a particular committee, this is not about any assuasions toward any particular committee. I'm just saying that I didn't know that, and you know, I'm the chair of the doggone board. Yes, Ursula.
Hey, so I'm gonna say, so we'll just put a disclaimer out, but if you guys read George's previous district manager report, he's always stated that that was his goal, to put it on YouTube.
Yes, Ursula, we don't have a problem with that.
Videotape. So just come up with a disclaimer and put it on, and then that would end that.
But Ursula, we don't have a problem with that. That's not the issue. The issue is that, you know, again, what we're saying is, you know, it was on TV. And again, none of us, as I said, the most important committee in my mind outside of executive is land use, because we really, I mean, case in point, and I meant to mention this, so I'll mention it right now. So, because that's actually the last topic for discussion, is, you know, they're actually building on Pear Tree, which of course is as of right? That's as of right. So, but they had to come to us not only in January, excuse me, not only in December, but January, so that they could discuss what they wanted to do, right? That was very important because people still ask me, I don't know if they asked you guys, committee chairs, questions, but people were still asking questions not only after Pam's meeting, but I want to say what National Council of Negro Women, you know, I got called into one of their meetings, and I think Ms. Claude was there because I had to leave the library's meeting to come in to answer some of those same questions. So again, that would have been, to me, in my mind, more of a pervasive issue to put on. If you're going to air something like that that had significant importance, where community residents were actually concerned about, that was a pressing issue, right? And again, I have nothing against any of the committees because I serve on all of them, right? So it's not one putting one committee versus the next. That's not what you're hearing here. I think what you're hearing here is that, you know, again, we know when we're going to be on BronxNet versus when we don't know. And I think that's the issue. None of us have a problem being on YouTube, George. I don't think none of us.
Can I just say one other thing? Like,
sure.
The amount of times that you have, George, that you have stated like, oh, well, this is going to be on YouTube, or we're putting this on YouTube. We everyone is aware of that now. But the fact that we weren't aware, I think poses a problem. I'm not, maybe, and maybe other chairs, maybe you can redirect me if you think that I'm off course with this. Please help me.
Well, I'm I don't think you're off. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Wait, Dr. Burke, hold on. I'm talking about the other committee chairs because
Yeah,
talking. All right, so
if I
You're
may,
not off. You're not off base. You're not off base. You're right on target.
yeah, but if I may, and I kind of knew this day was going to come, and I'm not going to blame George. I'm not going to look to blame anyone. I felt bad when Ivan just posted he didn't even know, and he's the vice chair. But the fact of the matter remains, I just think that this idea on being on BronxNet, which leads to YouTube, this entire idea needs to be explained to the fullest, and it would have given everyone the ideology and the understanding. And that's what did not take place. But it's not about blame. It's not about experience or lack thereof. I'm just going to tell you the best thing about a freshman, they become a sophomore because now everyone now knows. All right. When they first started this, I knew this was going to happen. See, George is smiling. I saw it coming. But you know what? We can't change what has already happened. Let's go forward and let's keep this in mind. The disclaimer is the correct attitude to have, and let's do what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. Last
Bob.
item. All right, last item, everybody. So now that we know, so make certain that you make the disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, and committee chairs, that there's a possibility that it could be on BronxNet. Okay, so now we all know. All right. Last item up for discussion, of course, is future land use and economic development considerations. And so that actually leads me into some of the things that we talked about. So as you guys know, Pear Tree came before us, and or actually, well, Storage Fox came before us, and they want to develop, you know, they want to develop on Pear Tree Avenue. We told them no, right? We didn't want more storage. So I think that they're building something else. So it will not be storage, whatever they're building. That's fine, you know, and we can go forward. My thing is this, you know, we know that pretty soon we're going to have another land use committee meeting in which 4541 Furman Avenue, here's somebody else that wants to take what's called mandatory inclusionary housing. And that's what we kind of sort of talked about with the last land use committee meeting. And they want to put housing. In fact, it's right where the old, right where the rail yard is. If everybody knows where the 2 and the 5 trains are housed up on up there in the Wakefield section, there's a warehouse right across the street from that they want to turn into housing. And so my thing is this, I mean, there's so many other things that could happen with that particular space. I mean, there could be training, there could be not only job training, but I'm thinking one of the things that they've taken out of the schools, of course, was home economics and shop, trades. And so I'm thinking that could be, a workforce one job center where people actually learn trades. That's one of the things that is not happening in this particular neighborhood, of course, is proper job training. In my mind, what I'm thinking that facility can be is someplace where ex-offenders can go and get some training, whether it be plumbing, whether it can be electrical or something, and they can use that training from those trades and go out and therefore make a good living, and therefore they won't be rearrested and contribute to the recidivism rate and getting back in the New York State prison population. And so, I know I had hydroponics, farmer's idea, but that's just one idea that I had with that particular facility. So, as I look at the last item on the agenda, I'm looking at, some ideas that we came up with. And so we need to talk about that because, again, I've always said we need to be proactive and not reactive. And so you guys have been hearing me preach about that for quite some time. And so, hydroponics, farmers market, medical center, all of these things that can happen at that and other properties in mandatory inclusionary housing. So I'm going to open this up and then I'm going to call the meeting to a close. But we need to talk about this. We need to talk about it now.
Yes, as chair of the land use, I just want to tell you, when we initially met with them, I guess it's more than a year now, we had asked them for specific things for them to get the zoning change. And we told them at that time, when they could meet our requests, they could come back to the board and we'll hear it again. And then naturally COVID came in, disrupted everything. And some of the things that you're saying, it sounds realistic. But if the buildings were going to be built, we wanted, the lower level would have been stores. And we wanted high quality stores. We didn't want the fly by night store. We didn't want any more dollar stores. We got more dollar stores than there is dollars. And we were looking for, like a TJ Maxx or something like that. And they said they would work on it. And they also were going to put a community room that the whole community could use in it. I mean, they're coming back to us. We can tell them that we reevaluated what we're looking for and throw it out to them and see how they respond to us. But I like a lot of your ideas there, Mr. Chairman, and I think, it's open for discussion, but I think we're going to have a real big issue with this. But, we are the community and we want what we want.
I see Beatrice, you have your hand up. Ms. Cornell.
Yes, I actually love that idea. We've been mentioning that in the not-for-profit committee meetings, that an educational center would be amazing in this district. And with that said, if you could all join our meeting this Wednesday at 6, greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cornell. Anybody else? Tolene.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I was wondering, I'm not clear on the location that you were just speaking of. Is that the same place that they were talking about putting a woman's shelter?
No.
Different area. Okay.
Right.
This is 241st Street and White Plains Road.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Well, actually, no, it's on Furman Avenue, Mr. Stricker. It's
the building fronts White Plains Road also.
Yes, you're absolutely, yes, that is correct.
Okay. So for somebody that doesn't know much about Furman area, if you say 241st Street and White Plains Road, they're right on target.
Okay, you're right, Mr. Stricker.
It's the street. It's the street behind McDonald's. Then that's the one.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly correct.
I'm on the other side. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Guys, look, I need ideas. Come on, let's go. Ideas, board members. Let's be proactive. Ideas, chairs. Carla, what do you think? Okay. Attorney Singh. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl, you getting on. Okay.
Yes, no, I'm unmuted now. Yes,
Okay.
I'm not sure I have a qualified opinion at this point. I'm still processing, so I'm just going to recuse myself until I hear other people's opinions.
Okay. I know my first vice chairman coming to you. Mr. Hall, I'm looking at him. I'm just going across my screen. Mr. Hall.
The one thing I noticed was that everything we asked of them, they try to come back and they want to accommodate us. I like the idea of having some type of educational facility, whether you're coming out of jail or not. All right. I think that's a great idea. It's something that people could look forward to and try to learn from. So I'm on anything that's educationally orientated in that particular project. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Attorney Singh.
I like the idea of something educational, but I think it also has to be balanced with what they're willing to do. I mean, in the end, it's their money that's being spent on developing that property there. I mean, I'm pretty much.
Which one are you talking about now? We talking about Pear Tree? Or we talking about Furman?
Furman.
Furman. Okay. Furman, they need a rezoning, just like Pear Tree needed a rezoning. They need a rezoning in order to do what they want. Because right now it's an M1 district.
I think we're still yet to. Well, I'm still yet to hear a presentation on Furman before I can, either go yay or nay or sit on the fence on it. I'm pretty not sure. I'm not sure which way I'll go. I think I need more information at this point. Pear Tree, okay. I'm all for the hydroponics idea. I am like the rest of the board or the majority of the board. I'm against more storage facility. A dining hall, that's fine. If they want to put that kind of business there, it's fine. But I'm opposed to a storage facility there.
Okay, are we talking about Pear Tree?
Pear Tree. Yes.
Okay, now at Pear Tree again, that was a Superfund site, so that site has to be monitored until the year 2042, right? So the groundwater is contaminated on that site. So me personally, I wouldn't eat anything there. That's just me. Even though it's been remediated by the state, and that I think the final documents were signed in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. It has been remediated by the state, but the fact that you still have to monitor for VOCs, and those volatile organic compounds is what a VOC is. The fact that still has to be monitored until the year 2042, to me that would be telling. So no matter what goes there, it's going to have to be monitored because of the amount of contamination that took place over the years. Okay. Mr. Isaac.
Hydroponic.
It's Dr.
I'm just saying, ideas. What are you thinking as far as Furman or anything else? Hydroponics, whether it be medical center. What do you think?
Trade school. I was also thinking about a wellness center, because up here we have so much underlying issues in terms of with health. There's also, a lot of mental issues up here that go undetected. And, just one of the things that we could use in the neighborhood, a wellness center. I don't know if wellness means just health, but wellness could mean mental health, So.
Okay. Ms. Clyde. Ms. Clyde?
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. So I got you,
Trainings.
Alfredo.
Mine in the chat.
Okay, so Mrs. Bond put hers in the chat. Okay, Alfredo.
Yeah, there's Furman. I keep hearing Furman. What's going on in Furman? Because I kept walking back and forth. What's the address?
Right. Well, they're going to come to us soon with a proposal to rezone that from an M11 to an R7.
They want to build quality housing, affordable housing, inclusion.
Affordable housing. The buzzword affordable housing. Yeah, more affordable housing.
Cool. What's the address? What's the address over there?
4541 Furman Avenue.
Didn't they do something there already? 40, 41, 45?
No, I think it's 4541.
45, 41 Furman?
Yeah.
Because I know in that same block, they were gonna, that's the block where the McDonald's is at. And they're gonna build a men's shelter there.
Nah, this is a further down.
Within the same block though.
Hydroponics.
I don't think so. I think this is across the street from Baychester or New Reed, I want to say. It's like it's adjacent to where the rail yards are.
Hydroponics.
I know.
It's adjacent to where the rail yards are.
Horticulture and a subset of.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Benitez.
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm kind of opposed to having another affordable housing project going on in this district. I mean, as I go through the Bronx, I keep seeing new housing being popped up, 4-story high, 5-story high, and I'm wondering where the heck are they coming from? And now you're talking about another group that wants to go up there to 241st Street to do the same thing. You know, I'm against that completely.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm saying that, you know, and that's why I want to discuss. You know, what do we want to think about before they even come to us? You know, what did we want to go there? So again, that's why I want to bring it. You know, I want to talk about it last month, but I know we were all tired last month at an EC meeting, and so therefore, when they come to us, because they're going to be coming, when they come. And I also want to mention about mandatory inclusionary housing, because as I said, I've been trying to learn about it. You know, I've been asking George about it. We talked with Ted Weinstein when he came on a land use committee meeting about it. You know, if you look at the shelter, the quote unquote women's shelter on 233rd Street that we weren't that happy with, but wound up going there anyway. That is in a mandatory inclusionary housing district as well. And the purpose of that program is to look at manufacturing districts and to turn that into housing. So what this particular provider did was, instead of housing, they want to say shelter, women's shelter. And if you remember, that's when, you know, I spoke with, you know, one of our electeds, and, you know, they were like kind of sort of, well, we got to pick and choose our battles. You know, if you remember that discussion, you know, last January or February. And so, but that's a MIH district as well, and where that shelter is popping up. So, you know, and I know this is part of Mayor de Blasio's effort to get more housing. The goal is to get more people out of the homeless shelters into a quote unquote affordable housing. The drawback is, and as I told Mr. Weinstein, that if you look at the reviews on that particular program, it's not gone well. It's not benefit. It's not done what it said it's going to do. And it winds up being a detriment to communities like ours. And so, you know, again, that's why I'm coming to you now, because Mr. Stricker's right. They came to us, I want to say in 2018, 2019, with their proposal. And my thing is, let's start the discussion now, what we want. So by the time they come to us, we could say, boom. And again, let's be proactive and not reactive. And that's why I'm saying ideas. So for those of you that don't have any ideas, that's fine. Sleep on it. For everybody that, you know, likes what we propose, let's go on that. John, were you able to talk with the people from economic development as far as hydroponics? What's happening with that?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you been able to reach out to Keisha Martin? Have you guys spoken?
Yes, we spoke.
Okay. So, do you guys need anything from George and myself?
No, not yet. I mean, let's talk about the idea and actually, if we have actually, I have a guest that I could bring in to one of the meetings. One of my lodge brothers is actually the founder of hydroponics. So,
Okay.
so I could actually have him come and talk to us too.
I think that's a fantastic idea, personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can make that happen,
Oh, yeah.
I would, you know, because something like that could go in with Mrs. Benitez. So if you would, because I know you're speaking with Mrs. Benitez already,
Yes.
but you know that would be something, because I know she and I discussed, you know, true economic development. Because you know, personally, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of these people coming in and telling us what they want for us, and you know, I want us to discuss what we want for ourselves. And I know Councilman Riley and I had a discussion about that a couple of days ago when we were on the phone, and we discussed just that. So, you know, what we want. And so I think he'd be more than willing to back us on that, but we have to come up with a solid proposal, not just, you know, again, not be against something, but what are we for? And to be able to make that happen. And so that's why, again, you hear me preach about that.
Is it our goal to have like a sustainable community, like, you know, like where we could like grow stuff and you know, like me, I actually grow a lot of things and I fish and I do a lot of things because I feel, you know, you need to eat better and do better things. That's one of the things we could do.
Well, I agree with that. I see where Ms. Cornell has her hand up. I think that's why I would kind of sort of want us to develop that golf course, that abandoned golf course, I mean, across the street from Home Depot, before somebody else comes in here and tell us that they want to put a mall there, right? So, you know, and even I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like the mall idea, but that's then again, people telling us what they wanted versus what we're saying what we want. So my suggestion is let's develop the idea and come up with a plan now, and you know, see what we can do. We may not be able to purchase the land, but that's why I said let's talk with economic development now. You know, because if we wait, the longer we wait, you know, then of course, you know, they say the early bird gets the worm. You know, the longer we wait, then the worse it's going to be, in my opinion. Beatrice.
And again, I really strongly urge you all to join our meeting on Wednesday, because that's exactly what we're serving the community. If we did have an educational center, what would be the subjects, the themes that you would want to learn? Everything you've been saying in the chat is what we're going to be serving them. And then the idea of the nonprofit is that then we'll fill out grants and get funding to be able to bring in these initiatives and these educational courses and trainings, and then get them licensing. So I really urge you to be part of this, because that's exactly what we want to serve the community. What do they want? If we would have built an educational center and seek grants and funding for it, what would they want?
And let me just say that, I mean, I had a wonderful conversation with, you know, Ms. Coronel and our first vice chair this afternoon. Despite the problems, nonetheless, had a wonderful conversation. And so I think that, you know, that's exactly what we're talking about, and is being able to be self-sustainable. I mean, I know we have a different need statements, but you know, let's dive a little bit more into the details on that. So before I close out, I promised the first vice chair I would give her a closing statement until she could wrap all this up. And I need to go eat, so so we can be out of here.
Excuse me, can
Yeah.
I say something? Ms. Gibson is here.
Sure, Miss Gibson.
What about a PAL? Keep that in mind, a PAL development.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I just want to make a comment on that site, the golf course.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty well, the board voted on it, and what was supposed to be go in there was affordable housing, a mall, a mini mall, you know, for local stores, and also a training center for people who were looking for jobs. And it was killed by somebody who didn't like it. He is no longer in the political forefront, but he killed it at the city council. So we probably could have had an educational center. One of the issues with with the way the Board of Education operates is they eliminated all the trade schools. Why don't we get a trade school built? But people, the only one left is Bronx Vocational on 152nd Street. Otherwise, there is no trade schools in the city anywhere. Gompers was converted. They all were converted. We used to have a great, like, how to fix cars, how to do this, how to do that, carpentry. And if the kid can't make it in school and he doesn't want to go to college, he has nowhere to go. He needs a trade school. We need to have these kids trained. So when they leave school, they're ready for a job. And that's the biggest thing. We could use a real big trade school that teaches a multitude of trades. Because if you're a mechanic working in a gas station, you're making $600-700 a week, as opposed to walking the streets selling drugs, which pays more, but at least it's a legitimate job.
Right. I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Trick. I think I was having that conversation today. I don't know whether I was having it with a personal friend of mine or whether I was having it with the ladies of the not-for-profit committee. I remember having that conversation recently, but I say all that to say that, look, you're not going to hear, again, I'd rather us be proactive than reactive. So whether it be a trade school, whether it be a farmer's market, I don't care. As long as it's something and it's something that we bring to the community, we bring to our elected, so that by the time somebody wants to come to us, we can say, no, we have plans for that. And that's why I want us to get with economic development and do this. Let's not do this, half-hearted. Let's go in. If we're really about this, let's be about this. Whatever, the idea is, let's move forward. I'm all for a trade school. I'm all for, like I said, anything that makes us better. That's what I'm for. And I think you guys know that, Ajeria.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, I agree that we can have it as a, multi-level, thing as far as education is concerned. Trade school, you could do that. It's just that we do have to look at, what the people are going to offer. And I'm really, against any rezoning, anything that they ask for rezoning. I'd be careful about that, because that's how they, come in and they change everything, they just change the whole fabric of the neighborhood. So with that being said, I also want to just say for everybody, take a look at your mission statements as far as the committees are concerned. And as far as you being the chair of committees, take a look at the mission statements that is already out there, that's on the website. Because some of them, the language is from 2000 or, it's from 2000. That's a long time ago. Even for the youth committee, for instance, it mentions Department of Youth Services. And that's completely defunct, so take a look at your mission statements to rewrite them and have it ready so that it could go up on the website. Maybe if you could just do it collectively or, to do them at the same time and have it done, say, by about April, by the April board meeting, so that we could all put it together to give it to George or Ursula for the website. So
has to come to the bylaws committee.
Okay, so it'll come to the bylaws committee too, even though it's not written in the bylaws what the mission statements are. They're not actually in the bylaws, but
I think
you can
should
certainly.
be in the bylaws. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think it should be in the bylaws.
Right, and it should be, but it's not there right now. If that's what you want to do, to put them in the bylaws, that's possible. But do take a look at your mission statements. That's it.
All right. So with that, board members, of committee chairs, I want to thank each and every one of you. Love each and every one of you. And with that, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right. So, Mr. Hall, sir, would you do me the honors and take us out in prayer?
God grant us the serenity to help change the things we cannot change, and give us the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you all, and have a good night.
The serenity pair, Mr. Hall.
Say that.
I'm out. Listen.
Good night.
Have a fantastic evening, everyone. Take care, all right?
Good night.
All right, good night.